All right, guys, welcome back to Middle Class Reactions. Today we're going to take a look at the part of the press briefing that was just held by the White House as of, it's actually probably still going, but it started 5-10 minutes ago. We're going to look at the charges that are being pressed onto this shooter, the alleged shooter, don't want to get sued. And then we're going to take some look at a look at the footage, some of the footage from last night. And then we're going to kind of talk about it. There's a lot of theories going on right now. It's kind of insane. So we're going to take a look at everything, and we're going to talk about it. So let's take a look.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for being here. On Saturday night, as you all know, an act of violence occurred at a gathering that symbolizes something fundamental to our system of government: the ability of a free press and public officials to come together in celebration and not fear. The act was stopped because of the courage and, that horrible act was stopped because of the courage and professionalism of law enforcement. The officers who responded without hesitation and did their jobs as they were trained to do. Secret Service agents promptly tackled and detained the suspect, Cole Thomas Allen. The president and all the protectees and participants at the dinner were safe. One brave officer was injured and is receiving care and has been released from the hospital. I want to make this clear. This man was a floor above the ballroom with hundreds of federal agents between him and the President of the United States. The Department of Justice approaches incidents like this with urgency and clarity of purpose. Violence has no place in civic life. It cannot and will not be used to disrupt democratic institutions or intimidate those who serve them, and it certainly cannot continue to be used against the President of the United States. We are investigating this matter fully. We will apply the law fairly, and we will ensure that accountability is swift and certain. But we also should recognize what did not happen. Law enforcement did not fail. They did exactly what they are trained to do. This was not an accident. It was the result, as we know now, of preparation. But the men and women who protected us that night were trained, professional, and had an enduring commitment to the rule of law. Today, the Department of Justice filed 3 federal charges in United States District Court against Cole Thomas Allen. The first count is attempted assassination of the President of the United States. This count is punishable by up to life in prison. The second count is interstate transportation of a firearm to commit a felony. This is punishable by up to 10 years in prison. And the third count is discharge of a firearm during a crime of violence, which is punishable by a mandatory minimum term of imprisonment of 10 years, a maximum of life, and the 10 years is consecutive to any other sentence imposed.
All right, so that is on that end. So the other thing that we're going to take a look at, this is the dude who did the shooting, Cole Allen. That's a picture of him on the ground being arrested. I'm sure all of y'all have seen this at this point. This is going pretty viral. There's a lot of videos coming out just in general about this thing, because literally everyone there had cameras. I mean, the White House press briefing was there, so okay, everyone had cameras. This is just kind of loud, so just heads up. But this is the chaos of kind of in the moment of what's going on. This is as everything is unfolding. We're not going to watch this whole video. It's 1 minute and 59 seconds, but we're going to watch a little bit of it. So at this point, the president's right here, getting moved off. So
Katie, do you have all your stuff?
one thing that's kind of crazy here watching is everyone's security coming into play. All these dudes you see, like this guy coming in, that's all everyone's security coming in. Like right here, you got RFK. I forget this dude's name, but he's high up in the White House as well. This is his security here. You got Dana White over here to the right. You can't quite see him, but he's over here on the right-hand side. Good on them for shielding the pregnant lady, by the way. Look at this. I like this. Good job, fellas. So everyone at this point is just jumping over random shit, trying to get out of here. There's Pete Hegseth there. So that's kind of what's going on in the midst of everything there. So as far as what actually is going on here, so there's a lot of theories. I've already seen a whole bunch of theories coming out saying that this shooting was a hoax. In fact, you know what? I bet if we type into X here, was a hoax. Let's just see. Here we go. The world is a stage, and this one is to save the face. False flag. The gunshots exposed. The gunshots at the White House Correspondents' Dinner were a classic false flag. So there's a lot of this is going on where people are saying different theories on it. Look, guys, this was no false flag. I mean, let's just be real about it. Let's just go through the logic of this. Let's just think about this for a second. What these people want you to believe, and this is getting pushed from the Democratic side. And listen, I'm no fan of Trump. Anyone who watches my channel will know that. I don't like Trump as president. Don't like what he's doing right now. But let's just think about this logically for 1 second. You're telling me that someone went to this dude, Paul Allen, convinced him to probably get killed, if not killed, get put in prison for the rest of his life. And he's a young dude. I don't know his exact age, but he looked the young 30s, maybe. So spend the rest of his life in prison for what? Like, what would be the point? I have a hard time believing it. I don't see any evidence of it. The other thing, and I have looked all over the internet, one thing I can't find, the only reason I have it is because I have a screenshot of it, because when I saw it, I thought it was crazy. It's the letter put out, the manifesto letter. So, see if I can get this to focus on camera. It's by Atlas News, just so everyone can see. Yes, my phone screen's all busted. I need a new phone screen. Don't judge me, guys. I'm going to read this. I can't find this anywhere. This was posted by Atlas News on Instagram. His handle is atlas.news3. So here's what he left, and this has since been scrubbed from the internet, at least from what I can find. It says, all right, quote, hello, everybody. So I may have given a lot of people a surprise today. Let me start off by apologizing to everyone whose trust I abused. I apologize to my parents for saying I had an interview without specifying it was for Most Wanted. I apologize to my colleagues and students for saying that I had a personal emergency. By the time anyone reads this, I probably most certainly do need to go to the ER, but can hardly call that not a self-inflicted status. I apologize to the people I traveled next to, all the workers who handed my luggage, and all the other non-targeted people at the hotel who I put in danger simply by being near. I apologize to everyone who was abused and or murdered before this, to all those who suffered before I was able to attempt this, to all who may still suffer after, regardless of my success or failure. I don't expect forgiveness, but if I could have seen any other way to get this close, I would have taken it. Again, my sincere apologies. On to why I did any of this. I am a citizen of the United States of America. What my representatives do reflects on me, and I am no longer willing to permit pedophile, rapist, and traitor to coat my hands with his crimes. And then in parentheses, it says, well, to be completely honest, I was no longer willing a long time ago, but this was the first real opportunity I've had to do something about it. Next page. While I'm discussing this, I'll also go over my expected rules of engagement, probably in terrible format, but I'm not military, so too bad. Administration officials, not including Mr. Patel, they are targets prioritized from highest ranking to lowest. Secret Service, they are targets only if necessary and to be incapacitated non-lethally if possible, aka I hope they're wearing body armor because center mass with shotguns messes up people who aren't. Hotel security, not targets if at all possible, aka unless they shoot at me. Capitol Police, same as hotel security. National Guard, same as hotel security. Hotel employees, not targets at all. Guests, not targets at all. In order to minimize casualties, I will also be using buckshot rather than slugs, less penetration through walls. I would still go through most everyone here to get the targets if it were absolutely necessary, on the basis that most people choose to attend a speech by a pedophile, rapist, and traitor are thus complicit. But I really hope it doesn't come to that. So that's what his letter was that he left. Look, guys, no one, I'm going to be very clear. I'm not condoning this dude's actions. What I'm afraid of is that we're going to see more of this. I think you can only push the American people to a certain point to where this is going to start happening. And again, to be very, very extremely clear, I'm not condoning this. Do not think this is a good idea. Do not do this. I don't think anyone should do this. I think there's other ways to settle this, to settle things. But I'm afraid this is what we're going to start seeing, and I'm afraid we're going to start seeing a lot of it. This is now the third assassination attempt on Trump's life. He better watch himself, because it's one of those things even a blind pig gets right twice a day. A broken clock strike twice a day. Blind pig finds an acorn once a day. Whatever you want to say. I'm afraid someone at some point is going to be successful at it, and then what happens to the world after that is, I don't want to know what the U.S. turns into after that. This video has also been going viral. This is another one of the conspiracy theorists I've seen. And usually, by the way, I find myself on the conspiracy theorist side, but this one's just not one of those. But they say, oh, well, why did they get Vance out? See, it's a false flag. But here's the video that's referring to. You see Trump in the back. Trump's still in the back over here. And by the way, right here, he didn't fall. You can hear in some other videos, they're yelling at him to get down. I don't know if they thought the shooter had made it onto his floor, but a lot of people, he came out, Trump said that on 60 Minutes last night, and a lot of people are saying like, oh, that was BS. He just fell because he's old. Listen, this dude is old, but you can hear in other videos that they were telling him to get down. Shielding the president and getting him out. My guess is those last dudes at the end of there would be FBI. Those guys. My guess is that's FBI. Right there. And these dudes you're seeing here, I'm not sure I don't know if that's Capitol Police has a unit for this kind of stuff. It could also Secret Service usually, and then just kind of get up. But I don't know exactly what units those are. So yeah, guys, this wasn't a false flag. It's not a conspiracy theory. A dude who's fed up with the current administration. And again, to be clear, do not condone this. I'm not saying this is a good thing. I'm not saying that this was the right move. Not saying that at all. But his grievances are felt by the American people by a lot. As far as like a lot that, I'm fed up with the stuff that he listed. And I'm afraid that a lot more people are going to be taking action like this when it's possible. And that scares me, because if someone actually does it, if someone actually gets through and gets the president, I think the world's going to just fall into chaos. Well, the U.S. will, because what it is going to turn Trump into a martyr. So yeah, guys, I don't know. It's going to be interesting. We're going to see. I'm imagining they're going to charge this dude pretty quick. Or I'm sorry, they're going to convict him pretty quick. He's already charged today. We're going to see. So that's what we got right now. Thanks for tuning in. I'm going to keep looking for updates on this, but like, share, subscribe, do all the stuff you know you need to, and I'll catch you all in the next one.